like to keep the lunch and learns starting promptly at 12:15 and ending at 12:45 so that you have some time on your lunch to maybe go out and enjoy a walk. It's a beautiful day out, get some physical activity in. And welcome, thank you for joining us for the virtual Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Cape May County's Family and Community Health Sciences virtual lunch and learn. With me today is Jackie Foscolero, and she is a member of the SCHS team here in Cape May County, and she's going to serve as our hostess today, and she's going to be monitoring the chat and keeping people muted and things like that. So just so you know, we are recording. I'm sure you heard the recording button go off. We're recording this video. We will post it afterwards. It'll be on our webpage so that if you want to share it or you want to re-listen to any part of it or anything like that, you'll have access to the recording. We'll send that out following the presentation next week. And we'll also send out some other goodies, like some recipes and things like that to follow up on this topic. I'm Christine Zellers, and I'm the Family and Community Health Sciences educator and assistant professor here in Cape May County. And just to give you a little bit of background on Rutgers Cooperative Extension, for those of you who may not know, Rutgers Cooperative Extension is part of the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station, and Rutgers is a land-grant university. And that means that we have cooperative extension services throughout New Jersey to support the community and educational information that's scientifically evidence-based, research-based. We only use that information. Rutgers Cooperative Extension is a partnership between the Board of County Commissioners, Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, and the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture. We currently have faculty and or staff in 21 of the 21 New Jersey counties, and we're composed of 3 departments. We have agriculture and natural resources, 4-H youth development, and then my department, which is family and community health sciences. And here at FCHS, we provide outreach in New Jersey and beyond on topics related to nutrition, chronic disease prevention, food safety, and overall wellness. And at the end of the presentation, I'll bring up a slide that'll have our social media handles, some of our websites, and my email. So if you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out to me and contact me. And then you can also use some of the resources we have on our websites and social media pages. Our website has recipes and articles and fact sheets, all kinds of information, both the one here in Cape May County as well as the statewide one. So I hope you'll check them out. Rutgers Cooperative Extension programs and materials are open to all without regard to race, color, national origin, gender identity, religion, age, weight, disability, height, political beliefs, sexual orientation, marital status, family status, or veteran status. So today's topic is eating seasonally, and I tied a little bit in today with the eating seasonally, to kind of talk about how we can save money by eating seasonally too, because I know that's a hot topic right now. People are all interested in, saving money because things are starting to cost a little bit more at the grocery store. So I throw a little bit in there. There is a poll that Jackie just opened for us, and if you would be so kind as to take the poll, I'd really appreciate it. These polls are really important as they give me information on, what to present, how to present it, and the audience that we're reaching. And the university does use those to know how our outreach is going. So it'd be very helpful if you could take a minute to do that poll. It's only a couple of questions right there in the program there. So with the objectives for the seasonal eating, we're going to talk about why it's good to eat seasonal, why eat seasonally, why should we do that? We're going to talk about eating seasonally and making it healthy and tasty. And then we're going to talk about seasonal meal prep and ideas. And like I said, I tried to tie a little bit about the cost effectiveness of it as well. And you can see my background today. I'm trying to coerce you into eating more fruits and vegetables. So hopefully, a little something fun and different besides the mess in my office behind me. We have here, if you take out your phone and you open your window or your camera, hold it up to that, it'll bring up the QR code, it'll bring it up in your browser. And if you click on that, this is a really quick, probably take you 2 to 3 minutes max, survey about the program. You can do that at the end of the program. And then if you leave us your email address, it will not be associated with your answers. However, it will enter you to win a prize. And we've been giving out some prizes every semester. So I hope that you'll take part in that and let us know how we're doing there. It's good feedback for us. So let's get into the program. Historically, food consumption habits have really followed where the food was, and that was seasonal because people didn't have access to all the different stores that we have access to now. So for instance, way back when, probably my great grandparents, they didn't have pineapples in New Jersey probably readily available in the wintertime in January, where now that we do because of, modern accommodations and things like that. But it also has taken us away from eating seasonally a little bit, which really means eating the food that's local and in the season. And we're going to talk about how sometimes that can be a little bit difficult with our location, but ways that we can still do that. And it's great to have these modern conveniences, but some of these foods, as you'll see, really benefit us eating in season because they do specific things for us, like they help fight germs, they build up our immunity, or they cool us down. So as we go through, you'll see that information. So we have the 4 seasons up here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those too. So why is it important to eat seasonally? Why should you bother to eat seasonally? Food that's in season is going to be fresher. So that's a good reason to eat seasonally. And just because by virtue of being fresher, it's going to taste better. So you're going to probably enjoy it more. You might eat more of it and because you enjoy it more. And if it's healthy for us, like fruits and vegetables are, then that's probably a good thing, right? Also, it helps, like I said, the immunity, the nutrients in the fruits and vegetables help to cool us down. And then, it's reasonably priced to eat what's in season. If you're, again, buying that pineapple, it's got to come across the country. We all know that fuel prices are up now, so that's automatically, going to drive the food costs up. So if we can, have something that's not using that fuel to come across the country or, from far away, another country, and that is local here, it's probably going to be more reasonably priced too. So it tastes good. It's good for us because it's local, it's fresh, right? And then also it's probably more reasonably priced. So let's break down the seasons into different sections. During the fall season, you can see down there on the bottom corner, butternut squash, apples, and leafy greens are in season. So they're in season now, and they're readily available. They can be nice and fresh at the grocery store. I was just talking to somebody the other day that was telling me how great the apples were that they had from a farm stand. Right, so they're local, they're fresh, probably just picked. And really tasty. So enjoying them as that local fresh is going to make them more tasty and more agreeable with us because maybe they're not wilty or something like that. And we've all heard the saying that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? But it's really holds somewhat true because fruits and vegetables really do provide a lot of beneficial vitamins and minerals for us. So for instance, we have the leafy greens in the picture there. So leafy greens like kale and arugula, those are packed with vitamins and minerals. Kale contains vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin K, B6, as well as magnesium, calcium, copper, and potassium. And it even has a little bit of protein in there as well, which some vegetables don't. So you can get a little bit from kale with a little bit of protein there. And all of these nutrients that I just mentioned in these leafy greens, they support our immune system. And as we move into cooler months, we're already starting to feel a little bit of that impact. I've seen on the news, that they're talking about the flu already and, RSV with children and older adults. So these nutrients from these fall type vegetables, they're going to help to build our immune system as we move into the cooler months and things are more readily available, like, viruses and things like that are more readily available. So keep that in mind. It's a good kind of keep me healthy type thing in the present. Also, last month on the Lunch and Learn, I did a presentation about pumpkins. If you didn't catch that one and you want to go back and watch it, you can log into our webpage. I'll give you that information at the end, as I said before. But if you go to the Cape May County Rutgers Cooperative Extension webpage, it'll have that recording there that you can access. And it'll talk a little bit more about pumpkin. But adding pumpkin to your dishes, in the fall brings flavor out in the dishes. It can sweeten muffins. It can make soups, nice and savory. And it's loaded with vitamin and minerals too, the pumpkins are. It has potassium, vitamin E, vitamin C, and vitamin B. And, you know, they can be used fresh in recipes, or you can also buy them in the can and use them. But obviously, if you're buying them fresh, they're going to have that fresh component we talked about already. So think about trying to use them fresh, and that those smaller pumpkins you can ask when you purchase, but smaller fresh pumpkins are usually the ones that are more readily available for us to eat the way we might enjoy them, as I mentioned. Also, you know, you can, some fruits and vegetables you can use in various ways. You can use all of the fruit and vegetables. So pumpkin is one of them. You know, you can use the pumpkin, the pulp and everything, which is loaded with fiber. And then you can also roast the seeds that are inside of it. And you can sprinkle them on salads or in casseroles for a nice little flavor. So, you know, the seeds can also be used as a snack. So they have protein in them, and they're a nice, healthy, unsaturated fat in those seeds. So think about all the ways that you might be able to use different fruits and vegetables in the entirety of it. All of these fruits and vegetables here in the fall harvest that I mentioned are high in fiber, and they're also good, packed full of phytochemicals. And phytochemicals are in all fruits and vegetables, and that's what gives the fruits and vegetables their beautiful colors, and they provide the nutrients that I've talked about through those colors. And the fiber that I mentioned, I say it all the time, it's really something that that we're lacking in the American diet. We really need fiber in our body to help it function properly, and have everything move through and maintain a healthy weight and help prevent heart disease. So, you know, try to think about these different fruits and vegetables in that way for their health benefits as you eat your fall harvest. In the warmth of winter, I think that should say in the cool of winter, right? Sorry. In the cool of winter, like maybe January through April, most plants in New Jersey, we're not growing. You know what I mean? I know I've already ripped out all of my gardens. Maybe the rosemary will make it through, but with the herbs, but you know, we have to rip out the gardens because there's just not a lot growing here in those seasons. So way back when, again, flashing backwards in time, in the early days, before we had grocery stores, maybe, you know, we did have grocery stores or markets that people went to, but people used to store foods like potatoes and beets that are root vegetables in root cellars. And that would give them that supply over the winter months. And, you know, I said the warmth of winter, but, you know, these root vegetables help to keep us warm in the winter, right? I know sometimes when was it, Sunday? Sunday it was kind of rainy and icky and cold, right? So I was like, oh, I just need something warm to warm me up internally. So I made a really nice pot of potato soup. And, you know, I always say it feels like it sticks to your ribs, but that's what those root vegetables are doing in the winter. They're helping to warm you up. You know, some of them get a bad name as being starchy. So if you're diabetic, you're going to have to watch how you count them. You probably count them as a carb, the corn and the white potatoes. But, you know, if you eat those white potatoes in moderation and replace them with other root vegetables like sweet potatoes are awesome. You know, I love a sweet potato in the wintertime. They help to warm me up. They're more of a winter type vegetable that you might eat. They have orange coloring. That phytochemical for them is orange, and that gives us a rich source of vitamin K and C. It has the potassium, the magnesium, the phosphorus, and folate, and it also has fiber. So it has a lot of good, healthy potential for you there to eat. Also, beets are another colorful root vegetable that helps with high blood pressure. It helps with inflammation, and it's good to support brain health as well. So these root vegetables are doing a lot for us, helping us function in addition to keeping us warm in those winter months. And just like the pumpkins that I mentioned in the last slide, beets, you can eat that entire plant, the bulbous part, that round red part. You can eat that bulbous part, and that's what most people eat, but you can also eat the stems by roasting them or chopping them and putting them in a salad. And then you can also eat their green leaves. So when you see them at the grocery store and they're the whole big plant there, you can pull that, you can bring the whole thing home. You don't have to throw it all out and just eat the bulbous part. You can eat all of it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that towards the end of the presentation here. Also, so you know that center those stems on that connect the leaves to the bulbous part of the beet, they have like a Swiss chard type taste. So they're good that way. And then turnips are another option. Turnips support our winter veggie list. And they're also a root vegetable. And like their root vegetable counterparts, they nourish us during those long winter months. And when you cook these tasty winter vegetables, try not to add, a whole lot of fat and sugar to them. Try to saute them in a healthy oil, like maybe an olive oil, so that you're reaping all the benefits and not, counterbalance them with things we want to cut back on and not have as much of. I'm also going to talk a little bit about adding some spicing your food up with herbs, which is a good thing to do. The herbs that you're pulling now, you can dry them. I've done some talks on those as well. So you can dry them and keep them over the winter, or some of the plants will still, I know the rosemary sometimes will live around here. You can still have that outside and go out and clip it during the winter months. So spring has sprung the next month. As we move into spring here in New Jersey, we start seeing those leafy greens come back and readily available in our climate. We also get asparagus starts to come into season, and mainly vegetables that can sustain that early, like that back and forth cold, are grown. So we start to get strawberries a little later in the spring. Garlic, as you can see, there is another one that comes about in spring, but both garlic and strawberries, they contain vitamins that help us fight congestion. And a lot of times, you have those allergies and things and as everything's starting to bloom in the area, but those types of vegetables and fruits can help you to fight some of that congestion and maybe help you be a little more comfortable when allergy season rolls around. Garlic's also an excellent source of vitamin B6. And it's a good source of magnesium, selenium, and as I already said, vitamin C, which is helping with that immunity as well as that congestion. Additionally, garlic's a great source of other minerals like phosphorus. It has calcium in it. It has potassium in it. You think of, when you're thinking of a way to eat potassium, if you have leg cramps or something, people say bananas right away. Try some garlic. Any of the white vegetables, mushrooms, garlic, they have potassium in them because one of their phytochemicals in those white fruits and vegetables are the potassium. They also have iron and copper in there. Strawberry, another excellent source of vitamin C. It's an antioxidant. It's necessary for immune and skin health. So it has those, antioxidants that we need for our skin health and our immunity. It has magnesium. It has folate, vitamin B9, and potassium. And if you notice all the contents that are in season in the spring vegetables and fruits, they contain vitamin C. And that, like I said, it's going to help us with those colds, the viruses, and, those allergies in the allergy season. It's really nature's way of, seasonal eating like this. It's really nature's way of supporting us and being healthy. I often get asked about vitamin supplements too, and many people, which one should I take? And they're paying extra for them. I'll just leave it at a really short, brief conversation about this. The nutrients that are found in fruits and vegetables, if you're eating a well-balanced variety of food, you should be getting the elements you need from fruits and vegetables. Now, if your doctor's saying, you need more, then listen to your doctor, obviously. But if you can eat a really nice, well-balanced diet, then, you should be able to get a lot of the vitamin and nutrients from, like I mentioned, all these different things, so that you might not need as many or some of those different supplements. And supplements, it's a big business. It's like the diet industry and the exercise industry. It's a big business, and people are there to make money from it. So, you talk about spending money on fruits and vegetables, they cost too much or whatever, or eating healthy costs too much. And if you're putting it into supplements, then, you're probably spending, if not more money, and you're not getting the real thing. So try those natural ways to eat, so that you get, a nice, well-balanced diet. And at the same time, you're getting what you need for your nutrients and your vitamins. I love summer. It's one of my favorite times here in New Jersey, not just because it's warm and we have the beach, but, also because of the local produce that we have. And one of the, a big local favorite you can see down in the front there is watermelon. Watermelons are about 92% water. And that's, interesting because it comes out, think about it, when is it here? It's here when it's really warm, usually around 4th of July, and when it's getting really hot out. And so that water that's in the watermelon, that helps to hydrate us. It's refreshing, and it's packed with nutrients too. In every juicy bite, there's significant levels of vitamin A, B6 and C, lots of lycopene, antioxidants, and amino acids. And watermelon's actually an anti-inflammatory, and it provides hydration in the summer weather. So, it's doing its job as a seasonal vegetable by keeping us nice and cool, gives us some, a sweet treat. And at the same time, it's also keeping us cool and giving us the vitamins and minerals we need for the season. Tomatoes and peppers also come into season in New Jersey in the summer. And tomatoes provide our bodies with lycopene. And lycopene's shown to have many benefits, like reducing the likelihood of certain cancers. And then also, letting us know about UV ray absorption. So in a peer-reviewed study done by the US National Library of Medicine, they showed a decrease in UV ray absorption among subjects who had higher intake of tomato products and high levels of lycopene. And that doesn't mean you can skip the sunscreen. You still need to use sunscreen, but it's going to help to protect the skin. And again, it's just another example of how, the seasonal eating aligns with what our bodies are needing at that time and helps to protect us. When you go ahead and purchase local produce that's in season, you're likely to save money because it's in season, and then you're also going to get those healthy benefits. So just to give you an example, if you buy blueberries in season, when they're in season here in June, then you can usually get those blueberries because they're plentiful, right? They usually run about, I don't know what they're running now, but they usually run about $2 or two quarts for $2.50. So that's pretty reasonable, right? But then around this time of year, when it's not in season, they bump up. It's about $5 for 2 6-ounce containers. So smaller size, more amount. So again, look at shopping in season when you're going to decide to buy different produce. Also look at the circular because a lot of times they'll have that seasonal produce that they have in abundance in the grocery store, and it'll be a better costing one. You can also look to try to can or freeze your frozen fruits and vegetables, or freeze fruits and vegetables, or can them. You want to make sure you're using a credible resource to do that. And we have information on our website about that. And then also, you can buy canned or frozen fruits and vegetables on your own. And we'll talk about that again in a second. Other ways to eat local, you can grow your own garden. We have a lot of materials here at Cooperative Extension about doing that, so you can certainly do that. Jen Sawyer and I have done talks on that. We'll probably do it again in the spring about grow what you eat what you grow, so that you can grow your own. Participate in a community garden. So some schools have community gardens that you can be a member of, and some other areas. So you can, if you don't have the land yourself, you can participate in a community garden. And that also helps to create food security by participating in that for others. You can also join a CSA, which is a community supported agriculture. So they'll have bags of produce that you can get, or what the different produce from them. And then visit the local farmers markets, because they're likely to have some locally grown fruits and vegetables depending on the season. One way to know whether or not it's local produce, we're really fortunate here in New Jersey. We have the Jersey Fresh symbol. So if you see that at the market, the farmers are required, the growers are required to make sure that it's grown and produced here in New Jersey. So that's going to tell you that it's from New Jersey. There's no specific definition. There's no specific definition on what local means. But this certification here in New Jersey, we're fortunate to have, because it does show us that it's local. So let's talk a little bit about, prepping and cooking seasonal food, learning how to prepare seasonal vegetables and fruits, especially if it's not something that you've traditionally grown up eating or you're, familiar with. You might not know how to cook it. So when you think about using seasonal produce, look for reliable sources for recipes like Cooperative Extension sites. So not just Rutgers Cooperative Extension, but there's Cooperative Extension all over the country. There's one in every state. So you could search Cooperative Extension seasonable recipes, and they would pop up for you. You can go to our website. Also .gov sites are reliable sources. So anything that you see that ends in .gov would be a reliable source. We have a lot of recipes and videos, like I said, so you can go on, we'll have little like 3-minute videos on how to cook things, and you can go there and check out some ways to cook some produce as well. To give you some ideas right off the bat that you can do, maybe even without a recipe, and I'll share some with you after the conversation here next week. I'll give you some video, some information on where to find more recipes and how to use them. But in the colder months, I really like to roast vegetables. They're wonderful when you roast them. And, I have down here in the bottom corner, that's a butternut squash that I'm roasting. And what I like to do with that squash is I roast it. Some of it I'll dig out of there. You can see I have the spoon and I'm digging it out because it's nice and soft. I'll dig it out and use it in maybe a soup. I'll put it in the soup with some stock and puree it. And sometimes I take it out, take some of it and use it in a soup, and I'll chop it up and put it on top of a salad. It's really good. We mentioned those green leafy vegetables. Chopping up butternut squash and putting on top of arugula is really good because it kind of offsets that tart taste of the arugula by adding the sweetness of the butternut squash. So if you're not sure how to eat butternut squash, there's a couple examples that hopefully you can use. Also, we have beets there on the right. I talked about it's one of those foods that you can use in more than one way. With both the beets and the butternut squash, I roast them. I put a little olive oil, drizzle them with olive oil. Then I cook them in the oven on 350. Usually takes about an hour, depending on the size of the vegetable. And I just check to see if they're soft so I can cut them and dig them out easily or whatever I want to do with them. So with the beets, I roast them. Sometimes I'll just throw in a little bit of salt and pepper in there and red onions and have them served warm. Sometimes I'll put the garlic in with them too. Just add a little flavor. You can't go wrong with garlic, in my opinion. It's a great flavor booster. And then also sometimes I'll let them cool and I'll dice them. And then throw a little feta cheese in there with a little more olive oil and have it as a salad, as a side dish or a salad. And that makes a tasty treat because some people I know say that they don't like beets because they taste like dirt. But the feta cheese really offsets that a little bit. You can put maybe a little red onion in there with it too. The leafy greens of the beets you can use as a green salad base. It will be a little bit more bitter like the arugula, but you can use butternut squash on there and make it less bitter and offset it. It's also nice to roast a bunch of vegetables together and have a little medley. You can even throw in the roasted potatoes, some garlic, some peppers, onions, put the fresh rosemary on top in the cool months. It's really tasty and it's really hearty in it, help warm you up, as I mentioned earlier. Also, another way is, maybe make a casserole with them. I know some people, they'll roast the butternut squash like that, puree it and put it in the mac and cheese. So the kids get a little extra vitamins that they don't know are there. So that's something that you can use as a casserole means. Also in the warmer months, wonderful to eat those fruits and vegetables not cooked. It's great to have them raw and we can enjoy them that way. Think about other alternative ways too and being creative, like for instance, grilling. You can see down the bottom there, grilling the corn. So it'll give a different flavor. Also, we have the grilled eggplant there that you can try. That's great for sandwiches or as a side dish that you can, you can grill it, mix in maybe a can of tomatoes or fresh tomatoes, a little mozzarella, little balsamic vinegar. So you can do those kind of things with it to make it a little more interesting. Also, if you have a grill pan, you can chop up a bunch of veggies, toss them in olive oil, throw them on the grill pan and grill them up that way. And don't forget about those fruits on the grill. I love peaches, fresh Jersey peaches. Slice them in half, dig out the pit, grill them until they're soft, take them out, put some crumbled blue cheese on there, drizzle them with a little of our Cape May County honey we have here. And then it's wonderful. And it's a great dish. So great side dish. So think about being creative and how you might add that produce to your diets. Jackie, if you want to release that second poll for me, please. And also I've mentioned a couple times trying the herbs, and herbs and spices are a great way to spice things up, no pun intended, and make things a little bit more tasty. You can add basil to tomato-based dishes. That's going to sweeten it up. You can add cumin to replace salt to make the dishes less salty and more flavorful. And they're really a great plant-based option to, make the substitute fat, sugar, and salt and have that healthy but yet tasty addition to your fruits and vegetables and your seasonal eating. And like I said, you can save them for later if you grow them in the garden by drying them, or sometimes people dry them in the microwave or hanging them, or different things like that. This is, again, if you didn't get a chance to pull it up on your phone, if you could go on and take the survey. And also we have the other poll that's open right now. If you could answer that, that would be wonderful. And then in closing, seasonal eating is a great way to help our bodies, because we're eating locally, that's helping the environment by eating locally. We're, eating what's in season. So again, you see the examples of how things keep us cool. I just gave you a few, but, things warm us up, things keep us cool, things help us fight allergies and colds and things like that. So that's how the fruits and veggies are going to help us with all those great phytochemicals that they have. So that's all I have for you today. Like I said, I like to keep it in that time frame. If you could hang out, you have about 2 minutes just to answer the polls there, and give us some idea of your thoughts. These are the sites that we have available. Like I said, we have quite a few, and you can see the top one is the Cape May County website. And then we have the FCHS website, the second one, that has a lot of the recipes and videos on it that you can check out. And then we have the overall Cooperative Extension website. So if you're interested in finding out more information about maybe growing a garden for the spring, you want to start planning now to have those fruits and vegetables ready for yourself and grow them yourself, you can check out some of the information